Hey, everybody. Welcome to another question and answer. I can't believe how fast the weeks go. I've never a lack of material, though. Just wanted to catch up. We reached 18,000 subscribers. So we're really happy about that. What do you think? Jimmy's in studio. What do you think of that, Jimmy? 18,000
You sure
people.
that's right? You're reading the number, not 1800?
Oh, no, no, and it's not 18
All
either.
right, all right.
It could be
Don't
180,000.
don't fluff out those numbers.
No, but you know what? We're proud of that because we're not a YouTube channel that's doing anything sensational or showing,
You mean
you
like
know,
what is that? Mike Myers and Dana Carvey thing? What was
well,
that?
they're they're definitely another stratosphere than we are.
Yeah, well,
But that's pure
we could do
entertainment, right?
something like that, but then I don't know. We
Hi,
might not.
Daphne. Oh, and Daphne's saying congratulations on 18. I think Daphne knows a little bit about this. This is hard to do. So the point I'm making is that we're offering upholstery. This is upholstery instruction, and we do all different types of videos. We have over 400 videos or more, so that's translates into many, many hours in the online classes, Jimmy,
Yes.
that people are liking. You and Michelle and Bernice is on the online classes. If you've never looked at the online classes, to where to view them to get some information is at the Upholstery on Broadway site. So that's another website. So we have Broadway Upholstery School on Facebook, which is a great resource, free resource. We like the word free, right, Jimmy?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I do every day. Yeah.
Free,
Wait, show me. Which direction do we have to go?
free and cheap. Those are two good words, aren't they, in the English language?
Now, do you think it would be a good idea, when you mentioned about the classes, to show a little bit of a teaser, like a couple of minutes of a certain
On the
thing?
online classes,
Yeah.
Patrick does that.
Oh, he does. Okay.
Yeah,
I
he's
didn't-
he's on the ball, that kid. I'm telling you. He sent me some YouTube comments, and I printed. I'm smart this time. I printed them out, so I don't have to fumble with my phone.
Well,
So the other free thing, obviously, is the YouTube,
yes,
right? And this is free, the question and answer. Although we like to try to. Daphne, you've been a great supporter of ours
yes.
using
By the
our.
way, you met her? She came out
Yeah,
and
yeah,
saw.
she's been down the shop a couple of times. So I should tell people that if you're within the Arlington area, and she is within a 24-mile radius, I know that because she lives in the same community as I do. So 24 miles, I'd say, would be a play. Wouldn't you say? How far would you travel to pick up an order if you wanted to save on shipping, Jimmy?
Well, I don't know, 20, 30 miles.
20, 30 miles. I think that's the
Yeah,
limit,
if there's a
right?
Dunkin' Donuts on the way, maybe a McDonald's, something. So to create a little bit of a ride for myself.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is it's free shipping. And that's pretty good these days. Free shipping if you come into the shop and pick it up. So that's pretty good. Daphne's taken advantage of that a couple of times. She just said hi Randy, good afternoon. And Deborah's hello from Idaho. I think I told Deborah one of the best upholsterers. He actually didn't like me at all. I don't know why. I don't know. Somebody didn't like me, Jimmy. What do you think of that?
I think you better see a therapist before you go off again.
My father said you can't be liked by everybody, Kevin.
No, you're not gonna be liked
Right,
by
Jimmy?
everybody. You gotta.
But he was. I liked him. Interesting enough, he was a character. He was from Idaho. He was a good. I thought he was a good guy, but he was a very good upholsterer. Very good upholsterer and fast. And he had an attitude which really worked to his advantage with the work.
Okay.
So he very quickly he came to a shop we were working in way back, and he quickly became one of the fastest, best upholsterers in that shop. And it wasn't long before he left. Somebody like that can easily start their own business.
Yes.
He was just looking to get established, which is fine. Well, I was in a shop where I saw a lot of people coming and going, and they were at that point in the upholstery industry. They were hiring, and but it wasn't easy to get a job as an upholsterer. Or a lot of times people, they just didn't have the full menu. Let's put it that way, of upholstery skills. So a lot of times people wouldn't even. They would last one day. That's it.
Well, I mean, when it's totally foreign to you, you gotta.
Well, these were people. They'd come. They would come with their tools and set up. But this was a tough shop, though. This was like Hell's Kitchen,
Oh God. Hey, hey, there you go. We could do an.
well, I couldn't do
Gordon
that. I don't have
Ramsay.
it in me. I don't have it in me to.
Shoot, you'd perfect
No,
for half an
no,
hour.
I can't do that. You know, you ever watch that show where he's yelling at everybody?
Yeah, well, God, I mean, it's amazing that
He makes people cry.
he does. He actually had, I think he had somebody want to fight him one time.
Oh yeah, a couple of people. You know, I don't run my shop that way, and I didn't run the school that way. Unfortunately, the school, as you guys know, we haven't had the school. Jimmy was one of the best supporters of the school. Jimmy knows. But I think people learn better under less stressful situations.
Well, yeah, everything was timed. I mean, think about it. When you have, certain plates for a table, whether it's two people or seven
You're
people.
talking about now. You're talking about
Yes,
restaurant business.
yes, but even with this, I mean, you look at a chair that's behind you.
Yeah.
You say, okay, beginning, okay, let's go 12, 16 hours, let's say maybe, okay. But if you see them even after the third, let's say after the seventh or eighth hour, you already know where you should almost be. And if you're not even there, can they help you? No, I'm okay. And you're falling more far behind, it becomes a detriment.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not a good thing.
You liked it though, in the class, right?
I loved every class. It was fun. Every class was
We're going to have you come up, Jimmy, and I promise. Last week we said Jimmy was going to do something, and we didn't get to you.
no.
I got kind of lost a little
Yeah,
bit.
that's all
didn't
right.
we?
Yeah. And then you drove off after you told me you wanted me to follow you for dinner, but I was like,
I lost you.
and then you didn't give me dinner.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
follow
good.
me, Jim. Well, what's the address, Kevin? Oh, don't worry, just follow me. Yeah, okay.
By the way, how is the Facebook going? I noticed the
More
Patrick.
people,
How many?
at least another 4 to 6.
Four to six people. Whoa, we're getting. How many are we up to on that?
You know what? I think you'd have to ask Patrick. I think you would have to. I don't know if there's any way
Yeah.
to really track that. I'm
I
sure
think-
there is. I just don't know it.
I think the Facebook has worked out great. By the way, I gave up Facebook for Lent. That's why if people are trying to get a hold of me, that's why I
What?
can't get
That's
a
the
hold of me.
last thing you would
Yeah,
have
they-
given up.
Well, actually, I
Maybe-
enjoy going on. You're
Maybe
supposed
BLT sandwiches as well.
you're supposed to give up something that you like and that you're used to and you're easy, that. So this has been hard for me actually giving it up. I gave up coffee one Lent. I gave up
Oh, you never see that.
coffee's tough. 40 days off coffee, man. That was tough.
Coffee I could do. I mean, I only have one a day, so it doesn't really matter.
Right.
It's the person who has 5 to 6 cups.
So I'm relying on you to tell me if it's been active. Has the Facebook been
Yes,
active? Have
yes.
people been posting?
Not as much posting, but people want to sign up.
People are just viewing old posts that people have done, and I think that's great.
Well, I think
Daphne,
it's a combination of that plus also the YouTube videos.
Daphne just told me.
What's that?
See, we might have to make her an administrator, a co-administrator, Jimmy.
What? I'm
'Cause
not
she-
sharing. No,
she-
no.
She just told me.
I'm not sharing my unpaid position with anybody.
We got Jimmy's ire up. 350, she said. 350 members. That's really good. We started with, I think Janine was the first. Janine watches us later. Hi, Willard. Willard made it. Randy says, I remember when most custom furniture stores had 1 or 2 upholsterers on staff. That's right. And Daphne says, no, I'm not trying to unseat Jimmy. Don't worry.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I've heard that line before.
So I think we cleared up a lot of our business. Patrick gives me all the new YouTube posts, but there's probably thousands of comments that I have a feeling, I don't know, I think we miss a lot of comments on the YouTube, or a lot go unanswered. I think we have to review that, Jimmy. Maybe someday we'll make an assignment out of that.
Well, you know what? You have to sign in too, and I mean, I don't know if there's any easier way.
What, the
Well,
YouTube?
Yeah, I mean, you have to, if you want to leave a comment, they say.
Well, now you can't dislike something.
Why
Did you
not?
know that? They took the, I'm pretty sure, maybe
What?
Daphne knows, I'm pretty sure they took the dislike off the YouTube. You have a
Well,
like,
thumbs up,
you have a like and you have a dislike.
Well, then what's wrong with that? I mean,
Because it's like the soccer, everybody gets a trophy. If you have a
Oh,
bad video, you're
well,
not going to
I mean,
be.
maybe that project you're doing, or maybe a certain technique that you did, wasn't their cup of tea, and that's maybe that's why.
I
But,
think,
I would be willing to say, tell me why it was.
yeah. The
look at
criticism
it.
can help you make a better YouTube channel.
Yes.
I think,
Yeah.
and some of the criticism is tough and rough.
I
like,
mean, it's
you know,
upholstery, Kevin. It's not like it's,
we're not conducting we're not teaching people how to do brain surgery, right, Jimmy?
no, that's another
Or
class.
we're not teaching CPR. By the way, beware those CPR ones because somebody told me that 50% at least of them are not they don't keep up to date on the
Well, yeah,
techniques
the thing is, the American Heart Association literally changes it almost every year.
every year. Jimmy,
just
Jimmy, you are qualified, right?
Yeah, I'm
Do you
qualified.
qualify every year for the?
Yes,
Do you?
I do the ACPR, AED.
Because you're working around a lot of people and a lot of people who might. Have you ever had to use it?
No,
That's
not yet.
interesting. No?
I have a couple of close calls, but no,
Do you have the defibrillators down in the subway?
we do.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
We have to make this relate to upholstery. So how do you relate a defibrillator to your upholstering? If
Trying to
you
bring that chair back.
try to, oh, thanks a lot.
Well,
Jamie says try to bring the chair that I upholstered back to life. Thanks a lot.
well, I mean, come on, think about it. Look at the chair you have now. Look at the work you are gonna have to do.
Oh,
Right?
Daphne said she could still dislike this video on her screen. So, she could still do that. So we have to be careful.
Well, then
We have to please everybody.
Yeah. I mean, she could take my job at any time now. I
Oh,
mean,
Randy says it's still a thumbs up and thumbs down. What were you talking about, Jimmy, with the dislike? Don't bring things up you don't know.
okay.
See, we need Jimmy. Jimmy, I have to bounce off Jimmy. That's why he's good to have here. Right,
Yeah,
Jimmy?
yeah. And again, in the unpaid position, yeah. I mean,
Someday, the
you know
royalties are
what'd
going to
be
come
fun?
in.
It'll be fun if you ever decided to, if you could ever do the classes again.
I know. Then you can be an assistant.
Well, whatever. But Daphne, I'd love to see. I'd love to.
Daphne would take a class in a minute.
Oh, we all will. You know
Yeah.
that.
I know we could fill up a room easily 3 times a week,
Oh,
easily.
in a second.
The problem is, Jimmy, I just don't. I just can't. The future's a little uncertain when it comes to the. I just was thinking about this. They're saying another strain is coming.
Oh, I know. But you know what?
So I don't know. I can't. All those things where we are. We have to remember where we are, you guys. If you're in the Midwest, it might be a little different. But where we are, we're surrounded by hospitals, right?
Yes.
The industry, it's a huge industry, it's a hospital. So they have to do things by the book, more or less, right? And the people do follow, people who live
But you know what? Here's the thing. Not to cut you off.
yeah,
But this is to basically say that things have opened up a little bit.
they have opened up now. But, in my community, half the people are still wearing masks. I think there's a
I
lot of,
think I think people are conditioned to that.
I know, but a lot of people are not willing. But the way it relates to the classes is half of the people that potentially would take a class won't because of the. I don't want to say fear. It could be just the tentative. Let's call it the tentative, right?
Right.
That they're. I'm not going to say they're afraid. Maybe they're being cautious because if half the people I see are wearing masks, that represents a cross section
Well,
of the.
you give the option to the people who say yes, you want to be part of the class.
Yeah, you could do
you're not
that too.
obligated to wear a mask,
Yeah.
but if you decide to wear one, no one's going to say
But I
anything to
think
you.
though, what's different is maybe I wouldn't get 3 classes a week.
Honestly,
You know.
you know what? I think you're wrong.
Well, I have to look at it a
Even
little
if
bit more.
even if you said,
What do you guys think? What do you guys think about
Daphne,
small
work with me, girl.
gatherings? So Daphne's been in the shop. We have about a 500 square foot shop where we used to get, believe it or not, 12 people in that shop.
I think even if we went to 8,
We go down to 8, but you're still talking about a distance, not a 6-foot distance between each person, Jimmy. You're talking about a 3-foot distance and maybe even less with 8 people. So that's a concern for people who want to,
well, again, like I say, if they want to take the class and they feel everyone's been vaccinated, whatever it might be you want to do, and masked up, then fine, do it. Absolutely.
Daphne says, I think you could get people, but your audience might be older and more cautious. That's interesting. She's right about that.
Yeah, I think
We
so,
did
too.
have,
Well, what's the youngest? I mean, of all the classes I took, I think the youngest was probably a man in his 40s.
yeah, that's right. That's true. That's a good point, Daphne. Well, we'll keep thinking about that. But I want to have Jimmy this week. We're going to get him up here towards the end here after I get through business here. But up here is another chair from my friend, and this is we worked up a work order. We usually don't do the fancy work orders, the typewritten or the work orders. Usually it's handwritten. But with this job we did. So this is the Chippendale wing chair with existing horsehair wings, and we're going to keep those. So my friend is a real purist, a real historian. He loves upholstery. He's fascinated by the process. So him and I talked about it. We want to keep the old wings that are on there. Even he doesn't care about the muslin, believe it or not. That's a little stain. He likes that. And then you're going to be surprised at the next thing. Keep burlap on inside arms with rusty tacks. So the burlap, the new burlap that I have on there, underneath that is the original burlap with the rusty tack. Because him and I were talking. He wanted to know why the tacks were rusty, and I said, well, the rusty tacks are the upholsterer's saliva, and he thought that was great. So we're going to keep that. We're going to do a pullover arm with pleats, but no button on this one. So the pleats are going to come down like this. The other one I did, which I'm going to show you in a minute, his other chair had a button right here, which was really hard to do. Pullover hand stitch all outsides, which I did on the other one, which you're going to see in a minute. Seat to be webbed on top. And I really went into probably more detail with him than I do with most people, but you may want to, if you guys are writing out jobs. I know Daphne is doing that. I know a lot of people on Facebook, like Pam Bowen, and I know Janine is. I think a lot of you guys are getting paid for your work. You're doing work for people and you're getting paid. You're good enough to do that. So you could go into this detail if you want. If you happen to be a good writer and you enjoy writing, working up a nice work order actually just makes you look really all that better, right? So, and the more detail, the better, because people like that. That an indication. I actually verbalize that, and then I write down. I do a lot of abbreviations that I can understand. I'll even tell a customer. I'll hand them the slip, and I said a lot of that's for me, remember, but it's what we just talked about. It's kind of in code, some of it for me, just shorthand. So, but here is an example that we really extended it, and we wrote it out. Seat to be webbed on top, one layer of horsehair on the deck and cotton, a double layer of horsehair on the seat portion or the front, right? And we're going to put this edge roll right on the front and a double layer, maybe a triple layer of horsehair in there, just like in the 6-inch area, which is the seat. Finger roll on the front, which we already have. Horsehair, 3-inch horsehair, no piping muslin lined cushion. So we're making a separate cushion on this one, 3 inches, and no piping anyway. It's a good thing because my friend, his fabric choice, it's a green mohair. He calls it a green mohair, but it's not. It's more brownish. It goes with the legs, I guess, a little bit better. But it's a very thick. Well, it is a mohair, Jimmy, not a velvet. Yeah.
Is that the material?
Yeah, it's very thick though, and you really can't do a lot with the mohair. Mohair was used in antiques. Everything I just described, we can do, but when you start, I would have told him he could never do piping on that because it's just too thick. It looks like rope when you make it. So you have to pay attention to those things when you're writing out the instructions on a job. You have to consider the fabric in the instructions, right? So I'm going to have Jimmy come up and pick some horsehair. I think I might have him put that edge roll on the front, and then start putting the horsehair on. You guys might like that. Let's catch up on some. I know Randy's going to be helping you guys as usual, and Daphne too. Randy says, I try to do enough detail to make the customer feel comfortable. I also email progress photos. So my experience with progress photos is, I have to be honest, Randy, it's never a good idea. People don't appreciate. I had somebody do that, and they were sending the photographs take up a lot of the space in an email or something. They didn't like it. Customers never liked it, from at least from where I'm sitting. The updates weren't appreciated that much. I think very few people. I think you have to ask them if they want progress reports, and I'm sure you do. But you can't do that for everybody. It would take too much time anyhow. I think it's probably just your customers that want that, right? Mohair is so much full. I did piping on mohair. Big mistake, Randy said. So, Randy, Randy's good to have on there as an upholsterer to kind of like back up what I'm saying, which is good. It's always good to get another opinion or to contrary to go contrary to what I'm saying, which is fine too. So that's it for that chair. So now I want to show you the chair that I did. You guys might be interested in this. So obviously there's a before and after in here. And I want you to see, I want to point out a few things. So the upholsterer that did this last, it's probably about, I don't know, 50 years old, an upholstery job, all done by hand, all tacked. Even the foam, you guys, was tacked. But the foam, they used a thin layer of foam on this chair, which is 19th century chair. You have to really say, why use foam? But you don't know the discussion that that upholsterer had with that particular client, so we can't criticize him too much. I can criticize him on other things, but not
Go
on
ahead,
that.
Kevin, let into him.
No, we're not going to, because he really did a great job. It's just little things like taking the foam over the wing, which if you guys watch the online classes, not so much on the YouTube classes, because I don't have enough time to get into this type of detail on the YouTube classes usually. But with Jimmy, we talk a lot about these transition lines, which are really important. So when you look at this chair, if you look at, see, my friend has the angles. This angle is really, really good. Now you look at the top of the wing and look at the top of the wing hand. Do you see what came out? What highlighted is this little bump here, which is supposed to be there, which is it's another detail to this chair, and so it brings out the lines in the way that the frame maker wanted it. And this frame was so beautifully done. They beveled. I mean, they beveled in here beautifully, and they actually had almost a razor edge that it came to. So what I tried to do is keep that edge. You can see how beautiful it is. I tried to keep the edges, and you'll see on the online classes. You won't see it on the YouTube how that's achieved. It's really wonderful. Now, I don't know if you could see the front of that. You see, there's a pleats with the button. You see that? So we changed. This was a paneled arm, which really wasn't stylized to that period. That was not a style of that period. This was what it looked like. I knew that instinctively, but when I took the arm off, I could see the hole, the nail hole that the button went in. The buttons are done with it's a nail button. I don't know if you can see it, but really the pleated those pleats to the center of the arm with a button, a number 30 button in there, a nail button. It's kind of hard to do with a heavy mohair, I'll tell you, but it looked great. That was one of the things his friends really liked about the chair. Actually, you could see it better over there. And this is all horsehair in here. Um, Daniel gives it a thumbs up. Daniel applauds. Thank you. I only do 2 or 3 per project. I think of the hand-tied springs, mohair. That's what Randy says. But you guys can see the comments. Thank you. So that was fun. Let's get to the YouTube comments. Then we're not going to let too much time go by for Jimmy now. Jimmy, we don't want to hog up his airspace because I want to see him up here.
I paid some good money for that.
Did you bring your saddle? Because I require everybody wear a saddle when they do horsehair seats.
I didn't know that. But it's quickly.
How corny! Everybody's probably saying, young people saying, this guy's
stop the comedy.
Cornball, right, Jimmy?
You started up. I don't want to.
Oh well. So let's get to the YouTube. So we got padding, a dining room chair, A to Z. So I forgot we did a few A to Zs, and I think the A to Zs are popular, but I wish I had more time. Unfortunately, this is a shop where this is my income. So a lot of times on the YouTube, we don't have that type of time. So we like the quick fix on that too, which we get to a couple of those in a minute. But if you really want to see the real extensive stuff, right, Jimmy's the online classes.
Well, you get to see up front. You get up close with a lot of the techniques that you used, and some of them, well, again, like I say, the settee is probably the best of the.
I was really excited when that was posted. So, actually, Daphne, you could tell me, or who, anybody taking the settee class? Where are we in the settee class? Did we finish that?
I don't know. I thought
I
we
mean,
were
on
third
online.
phase.
What's that?
I thought we were like in the
Third
phase.
phase? See,
I
because
think.
Patrick, I can't ask Patrick because he's not here. So if you guys know, let me know. I should know that, right? Would you tell how the likely original leather seat would have been put on? Thank you. So on the dining room chairs, an upholstered seat for leather is the same as an upholstered seat on fabric, except that if you have to hand stitch anything, you can't hand stitch leather. So if you have something to close, you have to use decorative tacks. And I know some upholsterers might use that ply grip, but that ply grip does not close heavier leathers up. I don't care how much you know how to do the ply grip.
So how that is all hand sewn?
No, you can't. Somebody was asking about a hand sewn job on leather. You can't. I mean, you if you want to get a diamond needle, a 3-inch diamond needle and pliers, and try to hand stitch that way, but it just doesn't close up that great either. You know, it doesn't close
Really?
up like fabric.
So
No.
how do they do it
They don't. You
then?
use decorative tacks to
Oh,
close up leather.
oh.
That's the only good way I know of doing it.
Well, even if it
Daphne
is,
says she was unable to load less than 8 on that, and I think it goes up to 10. I could see less than 9. Oh, Patrick, got to remind Patrick about that. That's a big deal. If somebody is not getting all the classes, right, Jimmy? Need to
absolutely.
let him
Come
know
on, man. We give up a lot of hours.
how to fix cat damage on a chair. So using the pillow fabric is a great idea. So what we were doing is we were taking fabric from another part of the chair and using it to try to patch something up. And I can't remember exactly where it was. If I have enough, I will not have to take from the back skirt. So yeah, I mean, we're just showing repairs in that video of where can you get, like, if you have to make a button, where you can get fabric to make a button that you don't tear into anything important on the chair.
Right,
So I love these quick fixes. It's all about extending the life of a piece of furniture.
right. Of course
You
it
know,
is.
I
Yeah.
mean, so if you've got 10,000 people up there with the pop button or a damaged seat, and you're saving that from the landfill, Jimmy, don't we contribute? Aren't we contributing to the recycling effort in a
I
good way,
think so, yeah.
right? So George says he replied to another one: quick fixing upholstery damaged by a pet. Interesting fix. I will try in the light damage pulls. All right. So you guys should check those videos out if you already haven't. I'm sure.
I mean, weren't you giving away a free cat for every,
Randy says everything was working, and Daphne's checking now on the side. I do appreciate this. Patrick says sometimes it's what people are using for. I don't understand this, but using on their, he calls it the cookies or something like that. Or,
yes.
he sometimes, Daphne, if you have problems, he can. We got a call coming in, so let me just put this down. Sorry, guys. Um, where was I, Jimmy?
Talking about the, God, I forgot. too.
Oh, Daphne. So Patrick, in the past when this has happened,
The cookie.
oh, she just loaded number 9, so it must have been on her end. Patrick he gets a little flustered sometimes, not at you, Daphne, but sometimes he gets a little flustered at people like me in my age group who
The
can't,
Flintstone era.
yeah, I'm used to my phonograph. You know what my phonograph is at home? It's a woodpecker, and I put him his beat
Yeah,
goes
that's the
into the
Flintstones.
phonograph.
Ah, another one-hit wonder.
So that's my technology, and he gets frustrated. I'm always reminding him, Patrick, if I gave him a rotary phone, he wouldn't even know what it was. Right?
Did you see the video of that? How they had 3 college students, and it was probably just made up. I don't know, but they kept, they picked up the receiver
I
and then
did
they
see
put their
that.
fingers inside the hole, and like it was like down, and then they put it down.
And they wouldn't take their
They
finger
wouldn't
out
know what to do. Then they picked it up again, and
And they had it backwards, the
Yeah,
cords.
it was like, what the hell, what, man?
Hey man, they don't know
And they
nothing.
wouldn't understand, hey, is your
You know what was
refrigerator
missing in
running?
that
What?
video?
Oh,
The only thing missing in that video was a young person. I mean, an old person coming in and saying, "Come on, what's wrong with you?"
true.
Right?
Remember
Let's
the good
catch
old
up.
days? And that was the big thing was dialing it, like trying to dial it in like 10 seconds.
Daphne had a good point. It's really hard for Patrick because people are using different devices that can affect what they're able to download. So you know how he solves that problem?
How does he do it?
Everybody has emails, so he emails them the link. That's how he
Ah,
gets around it.
well, most people do that because
Yeah,
that's the understandable part of it.
yeah. And she said she was trying to watch it on a phone, so that could be. Randy says he usually watches on a phone and cast it on the TV.
So
Yeah,
they still get my good side?
Jimmy, all your sides are good, Jimmy.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Good
How's
comeback.
that? I need some money. You got any money?
I got some change. I got 50 cents left over from my laundry.
Janine says on everything you need to know about back cushions, but we're afraid to ask. That was that video.
Okay.
I added that last part. Janine said, you should never be afraid to ask a question in my class. Although I have to tell you, I've been in some classes where asking a question can get you berated. And, I wasn't
Yeah.
really,
Think
Jimmy,
Gordon Ramsay.
yeah, I was in a Hell's Kitchen and upholstery shops before. It wasn't exactly conducive to proper learning, I can tell you that.
Well, that hinders somebody who was very open-minded about whether it's upholstery
Right.
or anything where it's learning, hands-on, knows absolutely nothing.
I find it always better. Nice and sweetness always gets you more. It gets you more out of your
Who
students.
told
Nobody,
you that?
nobody wants to come into a class and get berated, Jimmy. Right?
Well, no, you don't. So, all right, I give you that one. Jesus, you're playing
I mean, it
hardball.
sounds simple, right?
Yeah, well, you know what? We'll tell you what. We'll do the old Bonnie Fife routine. We'll make sure that they understand this is serious.
It's funny you should mention Bonnie Five because the wife and I, our favorite show is the Andy Griffith,
I love that
the
show.
old ones.
Yes.
I have 140 channels. We all of us have 140, whatever it is. I'm going through. Yeah, 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 yeah. And they get to the black and white Andy Griffith. I could watch it 5 times, 6 times.
Yeah.
It's entertaining.
The best one is when he does the preamble.
Oh yeah, right,
Oh my God, it's
right,
hilarious.
right. But I like it for its wholesomeness, and my wife likes it for that reason. But it kind of takes her back because she came to this country as an immigrant, and when
Okay.
she got here in the 70s, she landed in a section of Newton that was kind of like that. It was in Chestnut Hill, and all the kids played outside. The neighbors got along. Nobody raised their voices. Kids went to did all the things they were supposed to do. And she was a nanny for these doctors, and it was something like out of that was her introduction to this country. So
But we said, where's the door?
where did that go? And oftentimes we go back to that neighborhood
Yeah.
just to ride around. We get out and go for a walk, just to kind of like for her to reminisce. It's kind of like therapy.
Is it like you walking up and down Broadway in Arlington?
I don't get the same feel. I've only been there 10 years, so I don't.
Well, you should be walking up to
Yeah.
Arlington Center.
I do walk a lot down there. Actually, no, Arlington is a pretty good community. They do have a good community sense. They do support their small businesses, which I think more than any other community.
Yeah,
They
and
do.
that's a good thing. They're the backbone, I think, of anything.
And if you're looking for an upholstery shop, just to try to relate it to upholstery, you're looking for a community like that. You're looking for a community that supports its small business
Yes,
for sure.
absolutely.
Janine says, great advice on that, on everything you need to know about the cushions. And then the Turkish chair autopsy, we did this to how to deconstruct and measure a Turkish chair, which this is an odd comment. We just staple the fabric on the back. We don't care if it's visible or not. This is a very old piece. No one makes them anymore. He's right about that. But I don't know what he's mean by staple because there's no wood on the back of that chair. The only wood part is the base. Everything else is metal. So it has to be hand stitched. Everything has to be hand stitched. So I'm not sure about the stapling. I'm not sure, and usually you never want an exposed staple. Somebody sees an exposed staple somewhere, it's a sign they think of a poor job or that you weren't attentive. Which brings up another interesting point, Jimmy.
Mhm.
When you finish a job, I check every single. I don't look. I check with my hand to make sure there's no staple sticking out. That's really important. Let's just catch up on some comments. Randy says all the class videos are private. YouTube videos, best I can tell. Yeah. Yep. She definitely said that Patrick had to email her the link, which is fine. That's a lot of people. I wouldn't worry about it. It's all about having fun. Daniel says. Yeah, I thought that I had an instructor by who taught by sarcasm. Randy said, "Yeah, I'll." I fondly remember. I'm usually pretty positive about my mentors. Um, But, when I look back at that, um, I guess sometimes you just wanna remember the good things, and I don't hop on the negative, but it was not a good learning, situation. There were a lot of people coming and going, it was a busy shop. They didn't have time for questions, so a lot of times you had to just watch and not you had to know that there was probably a 1 or 2 question limit each day. You had to have extreme patience in order to learn. You didn't get all this volume of information you're getting. I wish I had a YouTube channel back then, I really do. I mean, all the job training is the best training usually, but I think a lot of shop teachers, it takes a lot of energy to not only show the work and bring people through the steps of the work, but also understanding different learning styles, right, Jimmy?
Yes.
We all have different learning styles and understanding each person's learning style. And in the case of upholstery, you got people with 10 different projects. So,
Yes.
that's the challenging part of it. Um, anyhow, Elisa, she says, how to upholster 1860s antique wood restoration part two webbing. So in that 1860 chair, that was a lot of fun. That was a chair from Kansas City, and we knew that because we took it apart and we found a burlap bag with the address of Kansas City on it, which was kind of cool. You guys should check that out if you haven't already. Um, you are my absolute favorite teacher. They must be talking about you, Jimmy.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
appreciate you teaching all
Where'd you
of
get that,
this.
the black robe with the hat, you know?
So that's good, Jimmy. That's good, Jimmy. We like the compliments too, don't we, Jimmy?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
My head's gonna be so big, it's gonna look like one of those Macy Day parade balloons
Oh,
things.
well, we can parade you down Main Street
You know
anytime
how
you
to
want.
fix me right there. All you need is a pin
That's
to
right, baby.
deflate it.
You
Deflate
have
the
gone into another county.
we have fun too, you guys. Very good instructor and lots of fun once you get used to him. Yeah. So Randy was saying that's interesting that some people do. You have to get used to certain teaching techniques, don't teaching styles
Well,
too,
you gotta
right?
know the end result, that, you have your approach, I might have mine.
Right.
Mine might be a little bit quicker, but yours is more thorough.
Well, teaching styles, that's interesting. Randy brings that up, right? Because I always talk about learning styles, but there's teaching style too. And there's one story I had a person come into the shop, and I had an assistant at that point. And the first class, it was obvious that this person was struggling in a way. It was a struggle. She
Mhm.
was struggling. I won't mention any names, but you could tell there was a huge struggle there. Something was going on, and physically and mentally. So at the end of the class, I said to my assistant, "Let's try really hard with so and so. Let's make a special effort." So we did. I mean, it wasn't obvious, but it was just extra help here and there, or an extra word of encouragement for this one.
Mhm.
At the end of the class, she came up to us and she said, in all of my, now she was older, because most, like you said, most of our people are 40, and the average age is 40, over 40, right?
Right.
At least. And she said in all of her years that we were the best teachers she ever had.
Wow.
And when you think about it, Jimmy, you go over your. Mr. Rogers said it best when he was given an award.
Well,
He said, "I want you to remember the teacher that most influenced you or something like that. Close your
Yeah,
eyes and remember that teacher that most influenced you.
yeah,
And when you think about it, all the way back, now the kids, they're getting teachers from nursery school and preschool, whereas I started having teachers in kindergarten. But you're talking, how many would you say, Jimmy? Dozens of teachers over the years. And if you
yeah,
go to college, you're professors, right?
yes.
So for her to say that, and she didn't say it lightly, she meant it. I thought that was quite a compliment, right?
Well, we won't call you professor yet.
No, no, not by any stretch. And I'm not doing this to inflate my
Then
balloon.
maybe Dr. Kennedy.
But I'm just saying, I guess it's the style. Who wants to take an adult class, especially with some guy up there being sarcastic and criticizing everything you do? You don't want that, do you,
Yeah,
Jimmy?
well, picture Archie Bunker. Okay, I could actually do him, I think. But
Randy says, "Oh, Randy has a comment on the French settee lesson 11. That was when you came in drunk. Do you remember?"
yeah, yeah, it was almost blur that day.
I'm
Yeah,
just kidding.
Kevin propped me up, gave me very weak coffee.
I gave you, whatever. Randy says, just a small hint. Jimmy was staggering around and we couldn't. No, I'm just kidding. Randy, I'm sorry, Randy. Just a small hint. When I re-roll and inspect my fabric, I mark yardage. Starting from the roll, I use blue tape to make yardage from the roll on to start from the roll, one, two, three, etc. So by the time I have it all re-rolled, my tag should be my total yardage. Now, as I'm cutting, I always know the yards remaining. That's a really good tip. Did you hear that, Jimmy?
Yes.
That's a really good tip. First of all, to inspect your fabric to make sure
Well, I
there's no
think you do. I
flaws.
mean, God forbid it has something. Of course, it's always never in the corner.
Do you always check, Jimmy?
I try to. Yes, I always look and say, okay,
Hi,
is this
KJ.
running the right way? Is this?
Right.
And actually, I got to take one of my future clients is he wants to do a field trip to a place in Lynn, a fabric
Oh, so
store.
fabric. We
Yes.
won't. Yeah.
So he wants to do a trip and decide on like a wingback chair what this is right here.
So, how many different ways can a fabric run, Jimmy? That's your quiz today. How many? Think
How
about it.
many?
How many different ways can a fabric run? Possible ways a fabric can run.
10.
8.
Ooh.
You were close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's up the roll, right?
Yeah.
One way, this way. Up the roll, this way. Railroaded this way. Railroaded this way, and then flipped around the other way for 4. So
Okay.
4 and 4, 8,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Most fabrics, some fabrics that don't have a defined side, you have to pick out of 8.
Mhm.
So a lot of times you're picking the fabric in a case like that. Is it a sofa? Is it a camelback sofa? You want to railroad the fabric. That's one of your best fabrics in the world, a fabric that you can run 8 ways.
Yes.
Okay, but then you get down to fabrics that can only run one way, like this. That's your top. That's it. Most fabrics are like that. And now today they're railroading a lot of fabrics, which is good. So what that means is a lot of times the stripe is coming railroaded. So that's kind of good because people don't like seams anymore. And when I first started, seams were part of nature.
Yeah. It was part of the landscaping.
Part of the landscaping. So nobody bothered. But with the manufacturers have not cheated, but they've spoiled everybody by removing seams from everything. Manufacturers would never show a seam in anything.
God
So
forbid.
people started getting used to that. So you have to respect that, though. A lot of times, seams look like something that's not finished,
Mm.
honestly. So we go now, Janine. Janine's always very generous with her comments, and I like that. But
About you?
something
Yeah.
happened last week, Jimmy. I don't know if it was because you were feeding me caffeine coffee the whole time, or
Oh, just the beans.
what
itself.
happened, because she says a weird she says a weird but funny show today, guys. Keep them coming. I don't know if we should be that funny because we do have some information that we need to
Well, you have
translate,
some information now.
right?
It's like you're the little boy in front of the camera. You can't get
Hey,
enough.
you think this is easy? Come on over here and try it. Could you talk for an hour and a half?
I have talked for an hour and a half.
Well, yeah, maybe to, have you?
Yeah.
What, have you lectured? Are you a lecturer that we don't know?
No.
It says there's a secret professor life that you have at night at MIT, which is one of the local colleges around here.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you one of
I
those?
said, hey guys, you need me for a little. Can
Are you one of those guys they catch on the chalkboard writing the Einstein equations, and then they're asking to come back at night to do a lecture series on,
I try to be. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Einstein's theory of relativity, and
Oh yeah, you know, I use the Three Stooges for reference.
Jimmy, have you ever had your IQ checked? I'm
No,
not putting you on the spot. I'm just
no,
wondering
I've never had.
because you're a very smart guy. You're a very versatile guy. I bet it's way up there in the 120s.
I don't even know.
What do you think?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
You need to do that for us. Next, I want to report next week.
Genealogy too? Is that what you really want to?
Oh boy, let's get back here. We're drifting a little. This is the
Yeah,
time. This
let's
is
just talking. No wonder why we're here day and night.
Patrick would be saying, you guys get back on subject here, back on focus.
Is what I say.
I mean, anything shiny that goes by, we're
Oh my
distracted.
God! Good. Thank God we don't do like a upholstery roadshow. We never go. We never go.
There was a guy in my neighborhood who used to give us. He used to throw. He was. I don't know. At the time, I thought it was great, but I told my mother about it. She didn't like it too much. But he used to throw us. I didn't tell anybody for a while. If somebody was throwing you silver dollars, Jimmy, he'd throw a silver when you were walking by his house. He'd throw a silver dollar and say, "Hey, kid, you dropped something." And I'd turn around. I said, "Oh, a silver dollar," and I'd pick it up. I told my mother she didn't think that was a good idea. I thought it was a great idea, getting silver dollars all the time. But I guess what I'm trying to say is anything shiny from now on, Jimmy, when you come in next time, take all the shiny objects out of here.
Is that because you're gonna stop picking them up, or?
No, it's because I need to focus. I'm trying to do too many things at once.
The hour's almost up.
So Deborah says she's working while she's listening to us.
What does Debbie do?
Of course, she's an upholsterer. Are you kidding me? I
Is
should
that
tell
what
all
she's
you
doing?
ladies out there who are upholstering, the most famous upholsterer in the world, Jimmy, ever that lived. You know who it is.
Sean Connery.
No, it's a female.
Betsy Ross.
Betsy Ross. So
How sexist of me to mention.
don't let anybody tell you that because you're a girl you can't upholster. You should see. I think most of the people on Facebook who are doing that remarkable work are girls, right, Jimmy?
Hey, they know what they're doing.
There was a girl in locally. My wife knew her. She was. I won't tell you her name. She was an upholsterer to Beacon Hill. She was the Beacon Hill upholsterer. Everybody knew her on Beacon Hill. She used
Really?
to. Yeah, she used to. She was an Irish girl, and she used to go into the houses and do all the upholstery. She used to take her sewing machine with her. Huh?
For kids, she'd have a kit with her.
She'd have all her tools and everything. Just go in the
Oh,
house and
nice.
upholstery. Yeah, yeah. Betsy Ross, Daphne says, American what flag? Yeah. So the story there, you guys, her husband owned the upholstery shop in Philadelphia. He passed away, and she inherited the shop. So I always the story that I like to tell is that there she is on her treadle machine, right? You know what a treadle machine is, right,
Yes.
Jimmy? She's working away. She's sewing up the cushion on this chair, maybe, who knows? And she's sewing away, and the door opens, and she doesn't have time to look up, and somebody's standing over her while she's sewing, and she's tired, and it's the end of the day, and then the guy says, "Excuse me." She doesn't look up, and she keeps going. He says, "Excuse me, would you be interested in making a flag for the new nation?" And she says, "Yeah, right after I do this cushion."
Is that what the conversation went like?
No, I just made that whole thing up.
Oh God, I thought it was maybe like a TV series.
Well, isn't that a great thing, though?
A moment in the upholstery word by Kevin.
I could
Keighley.
see Daphne. She's busy.
I don't
She's
know, she's-
upholstering, or Pamela. She's busy. She's upholstering, and somebody come in with an important job. She doesn't have time to talk to them right away. She wants to finish the last project, right?
Right. Oh, okay, boss.
I think she did a great job myself. And a lot of people don't realize that upholsterers back then were tent makers. So tent makers, right? And so you think about Valley Forge, right? You know
Yeah,
the story of Valley Forge, right?
yes.
How cold it was, and Washington had his tent there. And when you think about it, I bet Betsy Ross, I don't know this for sure, but I bet Betsy Ross or an upholsterer, he or she made that tent. And when you think about that tent was our nation's capital, was housing the George Washington. You imagine that, Jimmy? He's falling asleep over there, you guys. Wake up. We gotta get him.
Yeah, it's your fast pace. Okay.
Deborah says she's been at it for 22 years.
Wow.
Randy says, gee, an Irish girl in Boston, how unique. There's some of that sarcasm.
We're in Boston.
Beacon Hill, I told you. Deborah says, been at it for 22 years, but been around all my life. All my life. Grandmother was too. My brother works with me for the last 2 years. I think that's great. It's a family business, and you guys get along. That's great. So I think. There's one more, two more. Sorry. Robert says on the club chair A to Z. Wow, it's nice to see how other people do things. I've had to make new cutouts because the old ones were shot. Thanks for taking the time. So that was panels. We were showing how to do panels. Panels are. I cut my teeth in upholstery with the fronts of arms, finishing the front of arms, panel arms, which is one of the hardest things and the really the last things an upholsterer does. But they trusted me. They realized I was really good at it. So sometimes you excel in certain things. And for me, when you get the attention, when you're competing for a job, especially back then, and you get the attention of the upholsterers saying that you did a good work on that, something like that, well, they keep you around. Paula says, caning to upholstery conversion, upholster and preserve your caning. She says, this is an excellent video of converting cane to upholstery. I bought 6 cane chairs at a garage sale, 4 of which need repairing. I really like this method rather than replacing the cane. Okay, Jimmy, I don't have time. I'm not going to have time again to do the supplies. We'll do that some other time. I want Jimmy. Now you all know Jimmy. He's one of the premier students of.
Convict from FBI convict.
No,
You
no,
wanna tell-
no.
wanna tell that
All you
story?
ladies, here he
Wanna
is.
tell a story about that?
He's walking down now. He's going to be the bachelor. You know when they sell bachelors for the show, right? For the
Oh God, please.
here he comes. Here he comes. He's got his high school equivalency. He's 200 and
High school equivalent.
how old are you, Jimmy?
Old enough.
Come on down, Jimmy. Enough of the nonsense. Let's get some upholstery done. Come on.
So
we
what
don't
are we
have
gonna
time
what
for
are you gonna
this.
explain to the masses out there?
This is just a little horsehair that I have.
Okay,
there,
but
so-
we are gonna put the edging on. We have to-
Yeah, so I'm gonna plug the compressor in, Jimmy, and you gotta be really careful. Right? We don't want any accidents.
Yeah, because you haven't got the insurance, right?
Ah, the sweet
So
smell of a compressor.
what's the date on this chair?
You know, Jimmy, this is 19th century. I have one coming in from the 18th century. Same customer.
Okay.
Gotta run this through. Gotta let that go.
Oh, okay. God almighty, how do you run a shop?
Jimmy is all excited.
Hey, you know what? If we do the classes, we gotta get more compressors.
Well,
We'll have to do something.
we don't run classes like that, though.
No,
Only one person has in charge of the compressor in my class.
me. I've graduated to that. So
So,
explain what we're gonna do.
first of all, with any edge roll,
Yes.
okay, you want to. So what I tell my students, okay, is to make it even with the edge,
Right.
okay, because it's too hard to teach just slightly over the edge. I can never get it delivered. I always see it in a correct way because I always see it too far over the edge like that. Feel that. That's too far
Yeah.
over the
Well,
edge.
the other thing is,
So what I asked,
if you did have it the way you just did, it would wear out the.
well, the way I put it on is I'm just slightly over the edge. But what I tell people I want them to put it even with the edge because this has some flex. Did you see what happened there?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So I want you to staple at the flange. There's a flange. Now you guys, these flanges on the bigger rolls, people say, is there a top and a bottom? I want people to see this. Randy, you know, and Daphne might know. There is a way, if you put it up here, that the flange is on the upper portion of the roll. So make sure the flange is down at the bottom, right? Just like that.
Right,
Okay?
yeah.
So why don't you staple that across there? Make sure that you don't want it too
I-
far out. You can do it every 2 inches, Jimmy. And I'm gonna just be over here.
Breaking open the bottle of scotch, right?
By the way, Jimmy's using a BEA staple gun, which you can get at Upholstery on Broadway. Hey, Daphne, how are you doing with yours? Jimmy's a good sport. As you guys have seen the online classes, Jimmy is very open to learning new things. I think it's a great quality that he has. And Daphne says she loves her new staple gun. Jimmy uses, I know that Daphne also purchased one of the handguns. When I say handgun, make sure YouTube knows I'm not talking about a real gun. I'm talking about a staple gun, which I believe the world should have more staple guns made than real guns. But Jimmy still uses his hand staple, right?
Yeah, but this one here is a lot easier,
This
much better
because you
grip.
don't have the cord or anything.
No, but I'll tell you, it works. It's a lot lighter. It's a lot more sure shot. And
Right.
when we used it, I think it was on one of the last
Yeah,
projects. It really worked well.
it's a preference too, but it's good to have as a backup in case I know Daphne had an unfortunate little accident. She didn't get hurt, but she fell on her compressor. For all you guys didn't know that, she's okay.
Oh,
the
we could have sent the edible arrangement.
but the compressor didn't fare so well, but
Oh,
she's got it working.
well, for her, not so much for the compressor.
So Jimmy,
Yes.
so you see how you got a little looseness
Yes.
there, okay? So in the old days they used tacks,
Yes.
okay? So what I want you to do, now this initial stapling is fine, because you have to have it in place. What I want you to do is try to pinch. What Jimmy's going to try to do is pinch the roll with the staple on the other side. That's your first technique, right? Try to pinch it. So seeing little divots. Now, if you notice my job up here, little divots,
Right.
is not a bad thing. It means that you're tightening up the roll. So see if you could see
yeah,
if you could tighten the roll.
Okay.
And I'll be back to criticize you more and to be sarcastic.
Oh God.
I'm just kidding. Daphne says it's all fixed now. And K and J says the world should have more violins. That's right. I agree.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. We had a great, and we still do, but during COVID, I mean, the schools, the public schools, I don't know if a lot of people don't know this, but I'm pretty sure it's across the country that these private public schools are open because of your tax dollars to adult ed classes, where they're teaching art and upholstery and woodworking and all kinds of cool things, just to make life, just to give a quality of life, a little bit better. And that's what we're all about, right? And losing it during the COVID was terrible for people. And I really think that overall our mental health has suffered. I mean, collectively our mental health has gone down a couple of notches. We need to get these classes running again. It's kind of my motivation, I guess, for me too, guys, right? To do more classes. Daphne says the compressor was more hurt than I was. And then Daniel says it's good to have a hand staple in case of a power outage. That's another thing I like about upholstery. We could still use tacks if we have to, and our hammers. That it's always said that if you look at Betsy Ross, she didn't have any electricity, and she did some great work, right? Randy says, I still put edge roll with number 12 webbing tacks. That's good, Randy. K and J, do you remember when when Gilda Radner said that on Saturday Night Live, but she was hearing it wrong and it was violence? She was great. I love Gilda
Oh my God,
Radner. Do you
those-
remember
those
her?
Those were the good moments that Saturday Night Live. So try this now and you can be as
And
critical.
Gene Wilder. They made a great couple, didn't they?
They did. His claim to fame was Blazing Saddles. That was one of them.
But no, Charlie Wonka Factory.
I don't know. Yeah, it
Oh,
was
no,
good.
come on. Okay, Jimmy. So we still have, this might be good for a lot of people, but I'm going to demonstrate.
Okay.
Because I don't want you to get hurt with this one. So because I have to stand to I have to stand to the side to
Oh,
do
you're
it.
gonna bring it in front now.
That's right. So what I'm going to do is pinch the front. You got to really be careful and not have your body in front of this when you do this.
Why?
Because you could slip.
Oh,
Because you're putting a little pressure. So I'm gonna put pressure. Every time you put pressure down on your staple gun, you have a risk of going like of letting it slide off. Do you see that?
right.
So it's angled, angle it, put a little pressure and pull the trigger. Do you think you might want to try that?
Yeah. I mean, I did it
Do me a
before.
favor though.
I don't know.
Don't do it like this because I had a friend. I knew a guy. I told you. I knew a guy that
Your head.
I'm gonna show you guys a no-no. We don't
Yeah.
have the safety on this. And so what that means is if you panic, my friend, he went like this.
And hit him.
He hit his finger on the, I teach people not to put your trigger finger on until I'm down here. Did you see that, you guys? I'm down here, I push, and then I move my finger over,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
So my friend slipped
And hit him.
and he went like this, boop, 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 like 10 staples. And right in here.
Definitely, it obviously showed the excitement he had.
He was excited. He had a t-shirt on and, well, let's just say he was okay, but the t-shirt wasn't. And Daniel says sarcastically, no safety, work fast.
Everybody's a comedian.
OSHA does not approve of that statement. And Randy says he has stapled his leg.
Oh, wow.
He says, ask me how I know. He says, stapling your leg is so much fun. Ask me how I know. We have to be careful, you guys. All kidding aside. I'll tell you a serious story, though, about while Jimmy's working over there. A serious OSHA story. We had OSHA come into the shop once, and we had in the corner this hair picking machine. And let me tell you something. This thing was... You know what a music box, one of the old music box look like with the pins that make the music, right, Jimmy?
Yes.
The pins make the music. This looked like that, only the pins on this thing were like 4 inches this way, each one. And there were rollers, 2 rollers, and they would go around like this. And there was no safety on this, you guys. And it was electric. And the OSHA guy came in. What do they call those guys? OSHA guys? What do they call them?
Federal agent.
Are they federal agents?
Yeah.
Hey, did you guys hear that? They're federal agents. Well, the federal agent came in and he put his back, I'll let you finish that, Jimmy. I'm going to tell the story. Because we want to make sure Jimmy's practicing safe practices. He doesn't need his instructor telling funny stories while he's using an air gun that has 80 pounds of pressure that could easily penetrate through his shirt or through his pant leg and cause 2 small holes in his skin.
Are you through?
Are you all done?
Yes.
Now I'm going to tell my story. So
Oh, God.
Jimmy tells me that
God, but people got to go to bed.
OSHA, I call it the OSHA guy. Jimmy calls him a federal agent.
I think they
I
are
think
part
you're
of the
right. I
federal
know you're
government.
right. I know
Yeah.
you're right.
Okay.
So he's got this machine, and he's like this. He's got a shop full of guys looking at him. He says, "Everybody stop! Whatever you're doing." So everybody stopped and looked at him. He said, "You see this thing behind me?" He couldn't even mention the name.
Okay.
"You see this thing behind me?" He says, "I'm coming back at 5 o'clock. If that thing isn't gone, you guys are closed down."
Really?
Yep. So he left, and the machine left, and he came back. It wasn't even supposed to be. They were banned. These machines were banned.
Really?
Oh, they're so dangerous.
I mean, so open, no,
Yeah, very dangerous.
Okay.
So, Jimmy, we don't have one of those machines,
Oh,
but
well,
we have 10 digits, right?
okay.
Luckily,
Okay.
you you have at least 10 digits, right?
Yeah,
you wanna
my
count?
phone number is.
So our digits are our picking machine, right? So, Jimmy, what I want you to do
You
first.
mean there's still more we, I thought you were closing, is this good enough?
This is great.
Okay.
So, Jimmy,
So,
wait a minute. Got a little looseness. I'm just gonna
where?
take.
Where?
Oh, come on, feel this. Go right across here. This is great, great,
Yeah,
great,
this- you
great,
know what
great,
it was?
great, great. And then all
You
of
know
a
what it
sudden,
was?
this is where know what happened. Tell you what happened.
Go ahead.
You were listening to the story about the horse picker right there. See,
Horse picker.
silent, Kevin, silent, 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 silent. Stupid story. Oh, stupid story. And then you lost your.
I have a loaded gun, yeah. Not like the Three
So this
Stooges.
just needs another. Maybe here's the trick. Sometimes it gets a little hard, right? Just push down with your thumb and try to pinch the burlap. The ends are especially important. Now feel it.
Okay, a little better.
How's that?
A little better.
Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna just do the deck. And you see
Oh my God.
Yeah. Now we're gonna flip this up to show people. You see where the burlap is? Just so happens. The burlap is gonna be where the seam is gonna be from our seat to our deck.
Okay.
So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna put one layer of horsehair behind this seam. Okay.
Okay.
So the way to do that, what we're gonna do is, so we got some nice fresh horsehair. Are you kidding me? This is like gold, Jimmy. See this box here? It's
Yeah,
like
the box might be
a
going out the door.
$600 box. I now you do.
It looks like.
Hold on, you're
It looks
jumping
like
ahead.
Larry Fine's hairdo.
You're jumping ahead.
I'm joking.
Put that down.
I know.
grab a
Grab a
hand.
little. I was joking.
Grab a handful. You had too much. What you're trying to do with this handful, Jimmy, is you actually, it looks picked, but it needs to be just picked a little bit more. What you're trying to do is, in a way, is to flatten it out a little bit, like that. Feel that?
Looks like a good toupee.
So then what you want to do is put that down there. And then with the second one, I usually do rows this way.
Well, I'm doing
You,
it
you
this
can,
way.
you can if you want. But what you have to do now, what you need to do
Go
before
ahead,
you go to the
Ramsay.
next one, this isn't Hell's Kitchen. Before you go to the next one, Jimmy, are you paying attention?
Yes.
You just can't lay it in there.
No, you got to
So
intertwine it a
You
little
need
bit.
it like dough.
Yes.
So just take your fingers and kind of work it together. So your goal is to make two
Now-
into one.
The question is, how far do you go back?
You just a little bit under. Don't go all the way underneath. Just a little.
You don't have
hint
it. You don't have it sticking out of it.
No.
No.
No. Okay, so I'll let Jimmy go and I'll critique him when he's done, and that's probably going to finish up. We got a lot of comments over here to catch up.
Go ahead, Kevin. You keep going.
So Daniel says the way he takes care of inspectors is to have closets with locks. So I just visualized Daniel's shop. He probably has, in one closet, he has a horsehair picker. In another closet, well, I don't even want to speculate on what he has in the other closets.
Yeah, we haven't opened this closet up in years. I don't know where the lock is. Is that what he says?
Randy says, take it around take the machine out and take it for a ride around the block.
Yeah, absolutely.
K and J says, I'm in Michigan, but I wish I could just have you read my couch. It's 100 years old, horsehair, etc.
Oh wow. Well, we do free delivery pickup.
OSHA inspectors, Randy says.
Well, they know their stuff when they go through businesses and.
We got a lot of good comments, you guys. A lot of fun. Yeah, we like to have fun, right? It's people learning. The nice thing about this is people learning I know Daphne has an interest in the history of upholstery, and my friend who I'm doing these chairs really has a an interest in upholstery. I think by having people on here and me talking, it gives people a little background on the industry, on how it evolved maybe, and it is kind of it can be interesting.
I'm getting there. I'm working at it. This is nice, Kevin. Very nice.
Yeah, Ken, Ken and Jay says it is a lot of strenuous work. The type of work it is. Randy has to go. His wife's calling him. So see you later, Randy. That's
Have a
more.
good night, Randy.
Don't let us keep you from your dinner or
Yeah, I
anything.
know. I know Kevin's keeping me for mine.
I know. Jimmy's finishing up. And I think what we're going to do is Jimmy's got a couple of more handfuls to do.
And you're gonna say goodbye to everybody.
And we are actually, Jimmy's done a really good job over there. Let's shut the compressor off. I have to say, after doing my friend's horsehair chair and this one, I have to say the quality of the workmanship because of the horsehair it came out so great, and it just the the fact is it's the best batting. There's nothing like it. It's better than foam. It's better than cotton. It's better than latex. Better than hay. It's better than coconut fiber, right, Jimmy?
Oh yeah, anything better
It
than
it
that.
it just the quality of it was fantastic, and it's something that will last forever, really.
So there you go.
So, Daniel says you're doing an awesome job, Jimmy.
Would you hire me? I gotta get out of here.
Maybe we should lock Jimmy in a closet, you guys.
Yeah.
But he's finishing that up, you guys, and I think I'm going to have Jimmy talk a little bit and then close us out.
Well, hopefully for Kevin, is this gonna be here next week? Is this chair gonna
I
be
think
here?
so, yeah.
Okay, well, so hopefully maybe we can do a little more advanced techniques, and everyone will get to see how the decking's gonna be, and hopefully Kevin can kind of like expand the chair a little bit, hopefully, and we can all make it a little more informative, at least on this end, maybe a little more time on the end of the show, so we can kind of have everyone take a peek at this. But other than that, the business is done for the day. Everyone have a good week and take care.
Thank you, everybody.